news. This is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie.
We're going to continue our discussion with Matthew Landman, and we'll take calls with him next hour here on Coast to Coast. October 14th, we're in Columbus, Ohio. Why are we going there, Tom? Tell us.
Well, I'll tell you, last time we were there, we celebrated Mother's Day. 19, I believe?
2019.
Okay, well, this time, we are going to put on a Halloween spooky stage show experience. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to celebrate Halloween just a few weeks earlier, Saturday, October 14th, 5 p.m. The show starts at the beautiful Lincoln Theater in Columbus, Ohio. We'll have 4 guests that night: Ghost Professor John Kachuba, Spiritual Warrior Bill Bean, horror host Mr. Lobo, and mentalist Jim Carroll. Of course, we'll bring in a live band. We'll do a meet and greet, salute to our veterans, and all the great stuff that we do, George. These shows are a lot of fun, folks. We'd love you to come up, and we'd like you to come in costume. We're going to throw a prize out there for the best costume. George, you know what you're going to wear yet? I'm pinning you down.
Not yet.
But this is going to be a lot of fun, folks, so head over to coasttocoastam.com, and Lex has got all the info up there in the carousel.
What if I dress up like Billy G. Gibbons?
Why not?
From ZZ Top.
Why not? Everybody knows
I could do that. That could be interesting.
That'll be fun.
Got a great email from Becky who says her immune system has never been better, and she wants to thank us for this.
HealthyLooking.com and Dr. Alan Millay bring 4 decades of experience in natural products for the exclusive stem cell wellness kit that works with your body's stem cells to assist your immune system. Here's Dr. Millay with more.
Whether it's physical activity, obesity, diet, smoking, low on hormones, stress, sleep disorders, or your age, can be supported by reducing inflammation and aiding the body to heal itself appropriately. A stem cell is a cell waiting to be told what it needs to be. If there is inflammation, that inflammation needs to be stopped. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, kidney disease, various types of cancer, depression, Alzheimer's disease, autoimmune disorders, osteoporosis, even fatty liver are chronic signs of inflammation and can be aided by supporting the body's ability to protect those cells that it needs. And that is the purpose of ImmuStem and AdaptoStem together, supporting the body to be the best it can be.
Dr. Millay, how will I feel after taking AdaptoStem and ImmuStem?
The ImmuStem is going to have an immediate effect, but I tell you, your immune system is starting to function better after 24 hours. You put AdaptoStem along with it, and most will feel it within 30 minutes.
Order now at HealthyLooking.com. The Stem Cell Wellness Kit from Dr. Millay protects your body's stem cells and will make you feel better faster. The Stem Cell Wellness Kit with AdaptoStem and ImmuStem and your free gift Relaxol is only available at HealthyLooking.com or toll free at 800-563-3980. That's 800-563-3980. Don't forget to enter promo code George for free shipping. George's Stem Cell Wellness Kit at HealthyLooking.com. That's HealthyLooking.com.
Today, there are more identity threats than you realize. And even if you monitor your credit and bank statements, only a little personal information needs to leak out for identity thieves to make you their victim by taking over your investment accounts, opening new loans, committing other crimes in your name, and more, all while pretending to be you. It can be dangerously easy for identity thieves to use a little leak to put you underwater. That's why LifeLock alerts you to identity threats that you could easily miss on your own. And if your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. So you don't have to watch your identity go down the drain. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But everyone can save up to 25% off their first year at LifeLock.com with promo code George. That's promo code George for 25% off at LifeLock.com. LifeLock, identity theft protection starts here. The past few years have proven that unexpected events can strike at any time, and when they do, the food and daily nutrition you need isn't always there. That's why you need Nutrient Survival. These delicious chef-made recipes are packed with 6 times more nutrients than other emergency foods, and it's patented with virtually the same level of elite nutrition that's required for special op forces to help you stay strong, alert, and satisfied when you need it most. It's loaded with 40 essential nutrients and made from real ingredients right here in America. Try Nutrient Survival today. I have their emergency food kit, and it's worth every penny. And today, my listeners can save 15% off their entire order, plus get a free variety sampler with any purchase, and free shipping inside the continental U.S. for orders over $200. Nutrient Survival is an American veteran-owned and operated company, which I fully support. Head to Nutrient Survival, use promo code NORI at checkout for this deal. NutrientSurvival.com, promo code NORI, and get prepared today. And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie along with Matthew Landman. We'll take calls with Matthew next hour here on Coast to Coast. Matthew, tell me a little bit more about these 15-minute cities, and why do they call them that?
So the 15-minute cities, they're also called low-traffic neighborhoods, LTNs. The LTNs are being introduced to the United States and also Canada. And what it is under the claim that our carbon emissions are causing climate change, The entire climate change scenario is a new world order agenda. And all wrapped up in the whole climate change agenda, at the very top of it is this big umbrella that's geoengineering, which is the manipulation of the weather, spraying chemtrails, for all these different purposes. And if they weren't doing the chemtrails, they could never point the finger at problems with the environment and say that our carbon emissions are the problem and then force us into these, paradoxes. So the 15-minute city is the smart city where everything that you have to do is 15 minutes. And if you want to go get a burger that's 20 minutes away, you're not allowed because that's bad for the environment.
Oh, jeez.
So that's this push to control everyone. But these conversations, the informed conversations with the actual logic and common sense and facts, they're not being had. The cow farmers are being forced off their lands and being replaced by cricket farms because they're supposedly better for the environment. And you've got no awareness that, for instance, cow farts which release methane, and then you blame the methane release. Our landfills release exponentially more methane than any cow's farting. And that elephant in the room is not even being discussed. There's all sorts of elephants in the room regarding what would actually be contributing to a greenhouse, environment or climate change or global warming or whatever you want to call it. All the things that actually would be contributing aren't being addressed, especially the geoengineering. And then the humans, us, we're getting fingers pointed out at us and being told that we're going to lose our freedoms, we're going to lose our free will, and be pushed around into an AI social credit system at the end of the day, which leads to digital currencies and all these dystopian nightmares. But what I was saying before the break is I'm going to London to film the smart city unraveling, where they already have grocery stores that are all digital, where you have to have QR codes and smartphones and you can't use any cash, and all of this is happening right before our eyes. I'm going to go over there, protest that, included in the movie, and try to buck this whole thing.
There's a couple stores in the Los Angeles area where when you go to these self-checkout cash registers, you put the first thing you do is you hit a button to open it up, and it says you must have a credit card or you have to move on from this register. Already, it's starting.
Yeah, it's all slippery slope.
Now, did you say cricket farms? Do they expect us to eat crickets?
Yes, there's actually farms being seized in Europe and being replaced by cricket farms, and they're already talking about doing that here. What happens is the farms that release different gases, they are told that they're not carbon neutral, and then they get these big fat bills, and they have to somehow sequester their carbon or revert to more green things like growing crickets. And if you eat a cricket, you're good, and if you eat cows, you're bad because of the carbon emissions. But it's all nonsense. And at the end of the day, if you look into what the crickets are eating and stuff, this is toxic, and people should not adapt this new world order agenda. But everybody likes to get in line and think that they're playing nice and being good and do what the government tells them to do. But at the end, the government's not looking out for our best interests.
Why not? You would think they would logically do that.
Why not is because, well, that gets pretty deep, but behind the presidents are New World Order players like the Rothschilds and bloodlines and people that don't want to be known that they're actually in charge. And those people, they want to create a class system where they keep their grip and everyone else is basically like a slave to them. I mean, imagine we've got people making $15 an hour and then people making $15 million a day. They don't want to lose their grip. So it's all about control, really.
And realistically, how close is all this to being a true reality? I know it's happening, but I mean it's in place.
Well, Agenda 2030 is called that because it's based on the year 2030. There's also an Agenda 2050, and what the powers that be do is they line up their cards. They set the stage, and it's a slippery, slow, and steady slippery slope until the next shoe drops, and they push it even further. It looks like that this adaptation and rollout and normalization of AI will likely lead to some sort of internet hacking where everyone has to have a QR code to get on the internet. And then again, we look at this Hegelian dialectic problem reaction solution where we are pushed to conform, where everyone will have to have a QR code to access anything, and that'll have your biometric and all of your bank data and all this sort of stuff. How far are we from it? We're a few years out, but everything is being set up to get us there. So we have to raise the awareness and play our part. And people don't realize that your voice is your weapon. People don't want to look like a conspiracy theorist or a nutter to their friends, families, and peers, but they don't realize that their neighbors are craving these seeds and this little bit of information that we have. And by being the torchbearers, we have not just the duty, but we have the responsibility to bring this information forward and share it with our people. We can't just hide it from them, because then in a few years, when the next shoe drops, we'll be regretting we did not.
When your documentary Frankenskies first came out, what was the most challenging part of that documentary that you did? And maybe you didn't even know what was going on until you put it together.
Well, the biggest challenge while putting together was convincing people that geoengineering, a government term, a media term, which was the savior solution to everything, is identical to what chemtrails are. So chemtrails is given many terms, many words, and that confuses people. There's SPICE, S-P-I-C-E, stratospheric particle injection for climate engineering. There's CARE, C-A-R-E, through NASA. NASA has a budget of $88 million per day, and they have a chemtrail program called CARE, Charged Aerosol Release Experiment. There's also SRM, Solar Radiation Management. There's a TAP program through the Department of Energy called Tropospheric Aerosol Program. They're all geoengineering, they're all chemtrails, they're all spraying metallic particulates aerosolized from planes. But the big obstacle, hurdle, is to bring it to the people and tell them that it's been ongoing, and the solution being given to us is this ongoing problem that they've been doing. It's hard for people to wrap their heads around that the government would give them a solution that's been the problem the whole time. It's backwards thinking that people tend to trust. But just convincing the people that chemtrails, something that's been going on for some time, decades, and then geoengineering, something that's being introduced as a solution in the future, they're identical. They are the same thing. They're synonyms. And one is not the solution. They're both the problem. And people need to see it for what it really is.
What do you see as the biggest problem right now?
In the world?
Or for us here.
Yes, I can answer that. The biggest problem right now is the division between our people, okay?
Yeah.
You go out in the world right now, and maybe someone's still wearing a couple masks from, their fear from the past couple of years. You try to bring something to someone's attention, and immediately they'll put you in a box, because people are programmed so well and so divided that their ego, it's a spiritual journey, really. People need to check themselves, do the inner work, notice their ego, witness it, and grow spiritually, right? But so many people are early on their evolutionary timeline that they easily subscribe to this divide and conquer scenario. What color is your skin? What sexual orientation are you? Are you left or right, in the political agenda? And that is, all this polarization is to split and control everyone.
There's a lot of hatred out there, Matthew.
Yes, so much. And so any topic that comes up, people will put you in a box and they'll say, oh, well, I don't believe what you believe because I think that you believe this. It's the people already think they know who you are when you say one word, because their ego and their fears and the media and everything has divided us into such a divisive narrative that's our biggest problem. We need to know our neighbors, we need to know our community, and we need to not be divided, because that's how these social credit systems work. In London, there's an incentive to rat out your neighbor if they take a shower once a day, or if their showers are too long, because that's not green. And that is divide and conquer, okay? If you're literally calling up the government because they tell you to rat out your neighbor, then you're not honoring love and honoring your neighbor and honoring the integrity of, what this is to be a human. We all bleed red, right? We're all in this together, and they want us to think that we're not.
How will we know if our neighbor takes a shower unless we're peeking through the window?
Exactly. Well, there's steam that accumulates on the windows, and, you could be mistaken. They could just be boiling rice, but you call the hotline and get your little points on your social credit, and they can check smart meters and see what's going on.
Is China doing this now?
China has their own version of it, and we're adopting it. I think the people in China are different than the people here, so they have their own, and they have it. And with their cameras, their AI cameras look at each person, and through facial recognition and retinal scans, they know who's who, and they have a number floating over their head, and if that number goes below a certain point, they can cut them off the system. So everyone lives in fear, and they don't jaywalk, and they abide by the system, and they're very much controlled by the beast. And so they know that they can't pull that off over here, but slowly but surely they want to introduce a social credit system to us, and that's why we need to bring the awareness and honor truth with integrity and see the writing on the wall and not accept it, because we are beings of free will. And if we don't honor our free will and be able to make our decisions on our own, then what are we? We're accepting a transhuman, robot, dystopian future, which is nothing for our children. We need to honor what the children's future are and see it for what it is and play our parts.
We're going to take calls with Matthew Landman next hour here at Coast to Coast. Matthew, I've got 3 websites for you. Any ones you recommend, or all 3 of them?
Well, my baby is actualactivists.com, and that's a one-stop shop for truth. I recommend everyone take a look there. You can learn all sorts of things about chemtrails and 5G and health, and I've even got a shop on there, and the Coast to Coast coupon code will work there with the number 2, as well as over at the Sparrow Gear, SPERO Gear, and Sparrow Gear is my EMF protection clothing line, where the Coast to Coast coupon will work as well, and that's a lifetime code. And I can't stress enough how much people need to be aware and protected and know about the soup of EMF radiation that they're living in, because knowledge and protection is the curative and is your power in this situation.
So I assume they can track your phone even if you have the location button turned off, right?
Yes, they can track your phone even when your phone is off. So it's important to know about this and to honor your own privacy, and there's other blackout bags on the market. Mine are the best in the world.